So today let's talk about the rod cutting problem. Again, it's from the Geeks for Geeks. Let me read out the problem statement for you. Given a rod of length n inches and an array of prices, price I denotes the value of piece of length I. Determine the maximum value obtainable by cutting the rod and selling the pieces. Let me simplify this up for you. So suppose we have this test case, all right? Uh, Output is this. I'll just copy it. See what's happening. I am given with this data, all right? So see this n, this is the length of the rod. Okay, so suppose I have a 8 inches long rod, all right, and then I am given with the price array where these are the prices of corresponding pieces. Okay, so this one corresponds for the price of 1 inch. Okay, this is for 2 inch, and this is for like 8 inch. Now what does this mean? See, suppose if I cut up this rod in a 1 inch piece, like 1 inch of this rod, it will cost me 1 rupees, all right? And suppose if I went to market and I brought this rod with me and I sold this whole entire rod of 8 inches long, I'm going to get what? 20 rupees. Okay, so this is the problem statement. And what I have to do, I have to see this was like 8 inches, and this is for 7 inches, this one is for 6 inches, and so on. All right, so what I have to do, I have to cut up this rod in such a way that when I will sell these pieces in market, it will maximize my profit. Like if I cut up this rod, the output I am getting is 22, and that's because see, if I cut up this rod in two pieces, one is what, this 2 inches long, and the other one is 8 minus 2, that is 6 inches long. See, this one is going to cost me, this 2 inches piece is going to cost me 5 rupees, 5 rupees, and this 6 inches long piece is going to cost me 17 rupees. All right, this is clear, right? So this is going to cost me 17 rupees, this is going to cost me 5 rupees. All right, so if I will calculate my profit, it will be 17 plus 5, that is 22 rupees. Okay, but if I went to market and sold this entire rod of what, 8 inches long, I would be getting 20 rupees because 8 inches of this rod cost me 20 rupees. Instead I could do something like I went to market, sold this 7 inches long piece of 17, then 1 inches long remaining, and I would be getting 18 rupees. But this is the maximum thing that I could get out of this rod, so the output is 22. Taking the another example, like I have another example here. So again, I'll just paste this. Okay, wait, uh, now see, again the rod is 8 inches long, so the rod is 8 inches long, and this is the price array, like this is the cost of 1 inch, and this is the cost of what, 8 inch. All right, so if I went to market, and I cut up this rod in like 8 pieces of 1 inches long, so I would be getting, each costs me like rupees 3, and then into 8 pieces, that will be 24. All right, so the output is 24. Got it? So this is the problem statement. Now let's talk about the approach, how we are going to solve this problem. So let's talk about the approach. So what is the most naive thing that we can do? What is the most naive thing that we can do? So what's the most naive thing we can do? I'll give you time to think, brainstorm yourself, pause this video right here and try this by your own. All right, Okay, so again, let's take this particular array where we have like 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 17, 17, and 20. So we will start from here. I'll just paste it once again. Okay, what I'll do, I will start from here. See, another thing about this problem is that we can include any number of times those pieces. Okay, so it's like, you see, earlier, like this. If I have a rod of 3, uh, that costs me like 3 units, 3 rupees for 1 rupees, 1 inch piece of this rod. So I'm selling multiple 1 inches rod, right? So in this problem, I can have multiple instances of same piece. So what I'll do, I'll see, I'll have this thing. I will start from here again. I'll check if I want to include 20 or I do not want to include 20. See, I have the choice that I could include it or not. Okay, what is the case when I will not have the choice to include it? If this was like 9 inches long, right? If this was 9 inches long, how am I going to sell it? I mean, if this were the cost of a 9-inch piece, if this is the cost of 9-inch piece, how am I going to make money for a 8-inch long rod? All right, so if this is larger than the cost of the rod that I have to sell, I cannot make it. See, right now I guess you might not be able to understand what I'm trying to say, but eventually you are going to understand it, because while coding I'll show you how it is going to work. So see, if this length is greater than the length of the piece, then only I will have the choice to include it or not. Okay, in this part of my subtree, I will have the choice to either include it or to exclude it. Okay, but to have that choice, this the length of this piece is going to have to be smaller than this. All right, so like, starting from here, this is length for, this is cost for 1 inch long piece, this is cost for 2 inch long piece, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But suppose I say that for a 9-inch long piece you are getting like 50 rupees. But how will you make 50 rupees when you have the entire length of the rod you have is 8, right? You get my point? So see, when I will traverse down this tree, I'll see if I could include 20 or not. For 20, I'll be getting like 20 rupees. Okay, I'm getting 20 rupees because I included it. Okay, but if I do not include it, I'll come down this tree. I'll see. Okay, what I'll see, uh, after 20 I'll move to 17. I'll have this choice. Okay, I'll have this choice, and again I will have a choice to include this 17 or not. Okay, either we will include it or I'll not include it. All right, so after here I'll see this is going to cost me, like, this was 8 inches, so this will be 7 inches, so I'll have 1 inch remaining, right? So if I include it, what I am left with, I'm left with 1 inch. Okay, because I have already included it, so I will be left with 1 inch. Then I will check if I could include this. After the here, this is the node I will traverse here. Okay, this is the node for what, 17, cost of 17 I will get, but this is what, 6 inches long. What I am remaining with is 1 inch. How am I going to include a 6 inches cost when I am only remaining with a price, with a piece of 1 inch? I cannot include it, right? So I will have no choice here but to exclude it. So at this point I will have no choice. So this was what I was trying to say. If this cost is like, if this length of the piece is greater than the length I am remaining with, I cannot include it. All right. So that was what I was trying to say. Okay, but if I traverse down this portion, I did not included the 7 inches piece. Again, I am left with 8 inches. Okay, I'm left with 8 inches, and I have choice to include this 6 or not. Okay, got it. So this is what I was trying about talking about. And again, see what's happening when I'm seeing this. Again, this is a recursive tree, and for recursion, all we have to bother about is the base condition. So let's say this is the problem. Okay, actually, I have written the entire code beforehand. Okay, I'll just explain you through the code. For recursion, we will be getting a time limit exceeded error, but we can memorize the code always. So let's talk about recursion. See, because this is the recursive code. Okay, this is the recursive code for this problem. But see, recursion is not optimal. This will be naive. So this is the most naive thing that we can think about. So what's happening here? Initially, the temp was true. This is just to initialize a variable n to the length. Okay. So just in case, like, see, what will be the base condition? We'll come back to this portion later. But see what's happening. If the length is less than the length I am remaining with, I will have this choice. Okay, at this portion of the code, I am having the choice. Okay, choice matters, right? So I am having the choice if this length is lesser than the length I am remaining with. See, suppose this length figures to the, see, length here means the length of the rod. Okay, and n refers to the length of last piece. Okay, so price of n minus 1 is going to be cost of last piece. Why n minus 1? Because this is a zero indexed array. Like, see, uh, same as the example, uh, this here. Okay, this 3 is actually the zeroth index of the array, but it is going to cost me, it is telling me the cost of the 1 inch piece. Okay, again, this is the first index, but it is telling me the length, the cost of this 2 inches long piece of the rod. So similarly, what I'm telling you here is I'll have this choice, and price of n minus 1 is telling me cost of last piece. Okay, so what's happening here? If the length of last piece is less than the length of the rod that I am remaining with, like, I had choice of including a 7 inches piece. So what I am left with? I'm left with a 1 inch. Okay, I'm left with 1 inch. Then again, I will check if I could include another piece in this one length piece or not. Okay, so if the length of that piece is 1 inch long, then I will have the choice. Either I will include it or I will exclude it. Otherwise, I have to exclude it, alright, because I cannot have it there. So this is the thing, this is the choice, and this is compulsory part. Okay, this is compulsory, because if I am not going to have it, this is the else part, because if I cannot have it, I will have to exclude it. Okay, so this portion is just because Python code do not work like C++. So I made it a bit easier for me to initialize this variable, because after here, this is the first call that the program is going to make while running. So after that, I will have this temp as false, and again I will pass this temp from here and here. All right, so I'm never going to come up this. So this portion of code will execute only once, where first call, where it was the first call. Okay, now talking about the base condition. Okay, talking about the base condition. See, if the length of rod, okay, if the length of rod was 0, all right, if this is 0, how am I going to make pieces out of it? I cannot make piece out of it. All right, so I will have 0 cost for a 0 piece, right? 0 cost for, see, I I do not have a rod. How am I going to make money out of it? See, it's like I'm selling you a laptop, but I do not have laptop. So are you going to give me money? No, right? So similarly, I do not have a rod, means length of rod is 0. So there will be no money, right? So the cost I will be getting is 0. Okay, but if this last piece, the length of last piece is 0, means I have reached to the array at a position where the last element, the last piece I am left with of the rod. It's technically the similar saying of way of saying similar thing, but need to have it. So if I am having this, so am I getting I'm gonna get some money? No, right? So I'll again return 0 for the same condition. But if I'm going to include this piece of rod in my uh, current profit, so I will have to include the price of it. And what I'll do, I'll just recursively call the cut rod function again with the same price array, but the length is subtracted from the original length. Okay, this last piece is included, so I am left with this, like this condition, right? Do you remember what happened here? I had 7 inches long piece. Okay, wait, I'll show again. Erase the, see, okay, this is 7 inches of length I am, and then I chose to include 6 inches. Okay, 6 inches are included. So what I'll do in next recursive call, I will say I'm only left with 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch, that will be 7 minus 6. So what I did, this was length and this was piece of, this was length of piece of a last piece. Okay, so what I did, length minus last piece. So this is what's happening here at this portion. This is what's happening, and then again. Okay, and if I am going to exclude it, this is similar as this. I'll just do nothing. I'll just go. I will just say that okay, go to the next element. Okay, we were moving in this order, so I'll say just check the next element. Okay, and this temp is just to was for the initialization purpose. It will never get execute. It will execute only once when it was the first call. All right, but recursion, we know what's problem with that. It is very naive. We will have to recursively visit nodes which were already visited, so we will have a memoized version of it. We'll, during this portion, we will make an array, we will make a matrix. Actually, we'll make a matrix like this. Okay, this matrix is going to be of size, this will be n plus 1, n plus 1. Actually length and these are actually same. Okay, for some variation of this particular question, they may be different, but here they are same. So we will make a matrix like this, initialize this matrix entirely with false. Okay, and what we will do when we are getting this choice, okay, we are getting choice. What I did, I will just save these lines in the matrix. Okay, I'll save the value of this node in my matrix. See, suppose for here, okay, this column is 0, 1, 2, and 3. What this means is for the length of 3, for the length of 3, okay, actually this is 2, right? 2, I mean, if I'm talking about this, this is the 3. Okay, for the length of 3, okay, if I have remaining with the length of 3, do I have to, what is the profit I'm getting with the including this uh, piece of size 2. Okay, at this length, what profit I'm getting with including this piece of 2. Okay, this is the n minus 1. Okay, this matrix will store the profit, and what I'll do, I'll just see, I did same thing, but I put it here and again here. And if, see, if this portion is nothing, it is similar to the previous one, but it is saying if I am not initialized with false, means I have been initialized in some call, so I'll just take value from here so that I do not have to revisit that whole recursive tree down to the bottom. I'll instead just give the value here because I know that value I will be getting is already saved beforehand for me. So what I use is dynamic programming, and again you can make a top down bottom up approach for this as well, so that bottom up approach will look something like this. So that's it for this problem. uh, this is the bottom up approach, but the recursive will give you like this 100 out of 200 test cases for a pass, and I was getting a time limit exceeded error. But then my voice version was working perfectly fine, and so as the you know this bottom up approach. Actually, this is the bottom up approach. So what I'll do is I'll just rename it to bottom up. And the code for this video, you will be getting it in the link in the description. And that's it for this video. Thank you.